Greetings, Moralis and Axelar community. I'm Phil, head of research at Moralis, and we've got a really exciting special show for you guys today where we are covering the Interchain Token Service provided by Axelar. I'm greeted by Idris here today. Welcome on stage, Idris, to tell us all about this exciting aspect of Axelar.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me, Phil. And I'm really, really excited to be here today. Hi, everyone.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, before we get going, guys, hit the like and subscribe below so you can see more videos like this on awesome blockchain tech. Now, that said, without any further ado, Idris, let's go ahead and get your screen up here and get into the exciting content.
All right. Thank you very much, Phil. Yeah, let's get into it. Hi, everyone, and welcome today. My name is Idris Olubisi. I am really, really excited to be here and also to have you all for this workshop. So we'll be creating an interchain token programmatically with Moralis, using the Ethereum boilerplate by Moralis, of course. And then in this workshop, we'll learn how to use Axelar Interchain Token Service to create and manage interchain token seamlessly. But then before we go into the hands-on session, we will start with the details behind Interchain Token Service, ensuring everyone is on the same page to create an interchain token programmatically. I also encourage questions, discussion, curiosity, just drop it in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer all of them, right? So get your coding beverage of your choice, find a comfortable spot, and then let's dive into it. Moving on, my name is Idris Olubisi. Like I mentioned earlier, I am a software engineer and a technical writer. I currently work as a developer advocate at Axelar, and then you can find me on all socials at OlaNetSoft. So let's get into it. I find the concept of interchain tokens fascinating, right? And I would like to share an analogy to explain this entire software better. So think of it as a traveler. Imagine each blockchain as a country with its own currency. So interchain tokens are basically like a traveler with a universal credit card, which is the token. And this token is accepted in every country, which is represented a blockchain that the traveler visits. So initially, any traveler anywhere in the world must prepare a couple of things like setting up, to get their credit card. Maybe you want to get like Visa. Visa is just one out of many. You want to prepare yourself to travel. There are some other things that you want to like that you need to add to your backpack and all of those things. So right, preparing means that you are basically just setting up your development environment in this case. Think of it like you want to deploy an interchain token and then you're setting up your development environment to make this happen. And then what exactly is this setup all about? It's to get the universal credit card I mentioned, which is a way for you to create an interchain token that is accepted in all those countries that you plan to visit. Then when you travel from your home country to another country, so in this case, traveling from like a source chain, I can use like any blockchain as an example here. Let's say Phantom blockchain, and then to another country, which is Polygon blockchain. And you get to spend the same funds and also transfer those tokens seamlessly between these countries. Do you all get the idea? So while travelers travels like globally, leveraging something that gives you access to currency around the world, think of it like an interchain token that is created on a single chain, and then that can be deployed remotely to any other chains, having the same access on the source chain and all the remote chains. So, but it doesn't stop here. How do you take advantage of this new world where you get to deploy a token that is accessible on all chains seamlessly? What if your DeFi service could reach beyond just one blockchain? Have you ever considered the potentials when your DeFi platforms, your DeFi platform for lending and borrowing or trading services are not just limited to a single chain. Interchain Token Service paves the way for assets to be leveraged as collateral across all these chains, ushering a new era for interconnected financial solutions. Of course, your DeFi services could reach beyond just one chain, and all of these chains are interconnected together. Another one here is, what if liquidity wasn't confined into a single chain? So imagine a world where your asset could flow freely as an information on internet, which is unbound by borders of individual blockchains. So with ITS, liquidity is a universal concept, allowing you to tap into opportunities, not just where your assets were issued, but every other blockchain that you currently have the assets on. And then finally, of course, we don't like anything complex. Simplicity is always the choice. So envision the entire process of simplifying. It's a great experience to have interchain token across different blockchains. But how about the simplicity? How can you quickly get these tokens out there? What are some of the things you need to put together to make this happen, right? ITS automates the technical heavy lifting so developers can innovate without difficulties. So deploying and managing your dApp across different blockchain is as straightforward as you updating a blog post, and then it's live. So is this a magic? Of course it's not. There is an underlying service powering the entire process. And what is that service? The Interchain Token Service. What exactly is the Interchain Token Service? I believe everyone gets like the idea behind the service already. But what are some of the things that you can get out of the box leveraging the Interchain Token Service? So first, defining what Interchain Token Service are. This is a suite of tools and smart contract that is designed to empower developers to issue and manage tokens that retain the same utility and fungibility. So that's like emphasis on utility and fungibility across multiple blockchains. But we have like things that you get to take advantage of, like leverage, just making your existing token an interchain token or creating a brand new interchain token. First is trustless, right? Of course, we all love a trustless system that you don't have to trust this party for you to be able to do something. So interchain token runs on an open source code via smart contract on a public blockchain, which is secured by a dynamic validator set. So during the demo, I will show you all of this contract and some of the functions that are available to everyone. And then we can take a look at all of these things, and not just take a look at it, implementing them, testing it, and make sure it works on our local development environment. Moving on, we also have the no-code option. We want to simplify the process, and while we think about the developer experience, we also think about how about people that want to quickly ship and they don't have like development experience, or they don't want to spend time trying to figure out some of this, how to do these things programmatically. We have the no-code option, which is a fully automated and permission-led multi-chain deploy and management solution where you can leverage the interchain, the interchain token portal. So you can visit interchain.axelar.dev, and it takes you to the portal where you can literally create a new interchain token, or you make your existing token and interchain token. So we have these two functionalities directly on the portal. Don't worry, you get to see all of these things in action when we get there, when we get to the demo session. All right, moving on here, fungible. It is fungible, Interchain Token Service. With Interchain Token Service, you can easily scale up to 15 plus blockchain with canonical version of your token, sharing a single EVM addresses across all these chains. So I mentioned about the Interchain token portal. So if you have an existing token on one chain and then you would like to deploy the canonical version of that particular token across different chains with single EVM address, heading over to you can head over to the portal and then drop your token address and register it as a canonical Interchain token. deploy it remotely, and then you can start, doing token transfers immediately after deployment, of course. And then finally, it's functional, right? Interchain tokens are customizable. So that's the interesting part, right? If you have so many features or custom features that is unique to your product or your project, then going cross chains, you should be guaranteed that all of these customizations are intact. So if you deploy your token on chain A and then leverage Interchain Token Service to deploy that same token across different blockchains, you can be rest assured that all of your features remain with that token across all of the chains. Interesting, right? So that leads me to Interchain tokens themselves. So I've been talking about the Interchain Token Service, right? This is the service that actually powers the Interchain tokens. But then what exactly is Interchain token? To keep things simple, right? Interchain tokens are created and managed by the Axelar Interchain Token Service that I mentioned earlier. And it uses the Axelar communication protocol to send tokens cross-chain. So this is what powers the Interchain tokens themselves. And then with it, you can build your own assets, build asset transfers into your Interchain decentralized application, and then so many other use cases. It's also important to
So it
note
sounds
that,
like, sorry to interrupt, but this is very
yeah, it's
exciting
fine.
because
Yeah,
it sounds like what we have here is taking the place of what would have, in order to effectively accomplish it before, publishing individual contracts to each chain. Instead, the Interchain Token Service is taking care of all of this for us and allowing us to distribute our asset amongst these chains without having to write our own contracts on every single chain. Am I understanding correctly?
yeah, that's correct, right? If you have your token on chain A, leveraging Interchain Token Service, you can move that token on chain A to any other chains. That's, as of today, it's 15 plus chains. And then you can seamlessly create that same token or that contract that was deployed on chain A, deploy that same contract on chain B, leveraging Interchain Token Service.
Amazing.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's very exciting. I'm excited to see how we do this.
Yeah, so it's also important to know that when a new Interchain tokens are created, right, there's something happening, right? A mint and bond token manager is deployed. This is also a contract that is deployed. Immediately a new Interchain token is created. Maybe you create it via the portal or you're creating it programmatically. What this would allow you to do is you can leverage the mint bond type token manager to move those tokens between chains. And then the token manager contract itself will mint and bond tokens across all of the chains that it's currently deployed on. So which means that you can maintain the total supply across all of the chains that you have that tokens deployed on. So moving on, let's quickly talk about the Interchain Token Service decision tree, right? So I've mentioned creating a new token. If you have existing token, how can you make it an Interchain token? But what are some of the decision trees that you have that once you see, you know what the option that is available, to you? The first one here, if you want to creating a new Interchain token. So if the first question you might want to ask is, does your token need custom features? Like, do you have like custom implementation on your token? If yes, then what you need to do is to build a custom ERC20 token and then make it an Interchain token. If no, then you can just leverage the Interchain token portal to create a brand new Interchain token directly from the UI, or you also do it programmatically. So in the demo session, we'll be doing it programmatically, and you see the step-by-step on how to do that. So for the first option, which is yes, to build your own custom token and then make it an Interchain token. I mentioned before now that there's going to be like the token manager that gets deployed when you create a new interchain token. But then if you already have like a custom, ERC20 token and then you want to make it an interchain token, what do you need to do? The focus here should be you deploying a token manager, and you deploy a means bound token manager that takes in the salt. So this is going to be unique for this particular token. And you also enter the destination chain, the token manager type. So we have different type of token manager, and the one you'll be deploying in this case is going to be a mint bond, token manager type. And you also need to set params. So in the params, you set the deployer address and also the salt for the params, and then you also pass in the gas value. So after deploying a token manager, once the token manager is deployed on the chain, on where your custom ERC20 token is deployed on, what you need to do next is to start transferring those tokens, right? You can do that by calling the interchain transfer to transfer those tokens after it has been successfully deployed.
So it sounds like
The
when you're
second
doing
option,
that,
okay,
and sorry again to interrupt, but you're actually able to maintain the current token supply as you take it cross chain. Whereas under the
correct.
old methodology that I was briefly mentioning before, you would have to manually manage your tokenomics and oftentimes put out all sorts of releases to your community that says, we're not increasing the token supply. This is going to do all that automatically from what I'm hearing. Am
Yeah,
I right,
exactly.
Idris?
Yeah, that's correct. It's going to do everything. So the idea of having, there's so many things behind having you to deploy a token manager, but then one of it is that we want to maintain the total supply automatically. So as you are moving tokens across chain, what the token manager is doing for you is to burn token from the origin chain and then mint that token on the destination chain to keep all the total supply intact throughout the entire deployment, or like throughout the existence of that particular token.
Perfect. Very, very good.
Yeah. So now this is for custom ERC20 token that you already have. So the second option is, if your answer is no, right, you don't have any custom interchain token, you want to create a brand new interchain token. We have two options. The first one is to use the interchain token portal, and then you just select the options, enter your token name, the total supply, and all of that, or you do it programmatically. So the first one is doing it via the portal. So this is what the portal looks like, right? If you're interested, you can scan the QR code and then it takes you directly to interchain.axelar.dev. So even this is the mainnet, right? If you want to try things out on the testnet, you see a link as shown like on this screen right now below here that says go to testnet. So you can click on that link and then it takes you to testnet, which is testnet.interchain.axelar.dev, right? And then you can try things out. You can create a new token. You can register a new token as an interchain token and all of that. So this is what the portal looks like. When you connect your wallet, you'll be able to fill in informations like your token name, the token symbol, total supply, the decimals, and all of that, including the salt that is required and every other information. And you can also select which chains you want to deploy on. But because this workshop today is focused more on doing it programmatically, so I won't be like showcasing how to use the portal, but we have resources that I'll be sharing at the end of this video that you can take a look at on how to navigate through this portal. Trust me, it's very, very easy, very seamless to do. You don't need any coding experience to do this. All right, so moving on, the second option is if you want to do it programmatically. So this is what we'll be doing in this session, right? We have options, a function that is exposed to you on the Interchain Token Service contract, which is called the deploy interchain token. So if you are looking to programmatically create a new interchain token, what you need to do is to call this function and then pass in a salt, a unique salt value, and pass in the name of the token, the symbol of the token, the decimals of that token, the initial supply for that token. So it could be an initial supply because you can mint additional tokens at the end of the day, right? So and then finally you have the minter. So the minter here is an address that have that have the access to mint more tokens. So you can also specify the minter address. So if you have some sort of multi-sig wallet and only have the permissions to be able to mint additional token, then you can specify the minter address here. And then this function returns a unique token ID for you for that particular token that you just deployed. And then after deploying a new interchain token, maybe, for example, you deploy on Polygon, now you can proceed to programmatically deploy that interchain token remotely on other chains. So you've deployed that on Polygon. What next? You need to deploy remotely to any other chain. So a very good example here is we have that on Polygon, and then we want to deploy on maybe Phantom, for example. So what you need to call is this function deploy remote interchain token, and then you specify the original chain name. So the original chain name here is the origin chain, like the first chain that you deployed the token on. So it could be any of these blockchain that is currently supported. So in my example, I mentioned Polygon, right? So I can specify Polygon, and then I can specify the sort value. Remember the sort when we were creating the new interchain token earlier in the previous step. That's the same sort you are going to use here, and you specify the minter here, and you also specify the destination chain, right? The destination chain here, you need to specify if it is Phantom, Avalanche, or any other blockchain that you want to deploy on, and then you also specify the gas value. Then this function returns a token ID for you, which is also unique to this token. And then the final step is to transfer those tokens. Of course, now we have deployed on Avalanche, on Polygon, and then we've deployed remotely on Phantom. And then we have like 20,000 on Polygon, which is the initial supply that we minted. We want to transfer from Polygon to Phantom. This is the function that is available to anyone that is willing to do this. And then calling interchain token transfer function, specifying the token ID. Remember the token ID that was returned when you deployed your new interchain token. That is what you need to specify here. And then you also specify the destination chain, the destination address. In this example, is Phantom, and then the address, you specify it. And you also, the destination address here is the recipient address that would receive this particular token on the destination chain. And then you specify the amount that you want to send. If you have, you also specify metadata. If you don't have any other metadata, you can just put OX to make it empty. And then you specify the gas value. And that's all you need to transfer token from Polygon to Phantom, or it could be from chain A to chain B, any of the supported chains, right? So the second part of deploying interchain token, the first one is creating a new one, and then the second one now, the second option here is, what if you already have a token and then you want to upgrade it, like you want to upgrade an existing ERC20 token as an interchain token? So the first question is, do you have your token deployed on multiple chains already? If yes, then what you need to do is to link deploy tokens on multiple chains into an interchain token. If no, then you can just use the canonical token option to do it programmatically, or you use the interchain token portal. You can see that there are options for you to do things programmatically or to use the portal. So you just have to choose. You don't need to use a particular approach. We have all of these steps for you to deploy your interchain token. So the first one is yes, you can link which is linking deploy token on multiple chain into an interchain token. And then what you need to do to link this is to also deploy a token manager. So what you're doing here is to deploy first. Of course, you need to have your token on multiple chains. And then the second thing you need to do is to deploy a mint-born token manager type on the first chain, like the source chain. And you specify the source, you specify the destination chain, you specify the token manager type. In this case, is mint-born type. And then you also add your params, which includes the minter, the signer address, and also the salt, right? So, and finally, you pass in the gas value. So this is what you need to deploy. Once you deploy your token manager, then you deploy your token manager, and then you can start, transferring token from one chain to the other. And it is going to, like, the token manager you deploy will be leveraged to mint and burn token across all of these chains as you transfer them. So the second option is no, you don't have your token on multiple chains, right? You only have it on a single chain. So the option that is available for you is to use the canonical token option that we have. And under it, you can do it programmatically also, or you use the Interchain token portal. So the first option here is using the Interchain token portal. Is still the same portal I talked about a few slides ago. So you can take a look at the portal, and what you need to do is to drop your existing ERC20 token that you already deployed on a single chain, drop it in this search bar, and then you'll be able to register it as a canonical Interchain token and register it across multiple blockchains. So if you want to do it programmatically, this is the function that is available to you. You call the register canonical Interchain token, and then you pass in your token address, and it returns a token ID to you. So after registering, of course, this is registering on chain A. You need to now register, you need to deploy that token that you register on chain A to chain B, right? And the function you can use to achieve this is calling the deploy remote canonical Interchain token. And then you pass in the original chain, original token, destination chain, and then the gas value. So original chain is the chain A that we deploy, that we register it as a canonical token, canonical Interchain token on. And then you also specify the original token address and the destination chain. In this case, it could be any of these supported chains, right? And finally, the gas value, and then this returns the token ID for you. So after registering an Interchain token, deploying it remotely, registering a canonical Interchain token, deploying it remotely, the last thing you want to do is to start interchain transfer between those chains. And then this is the function available to you programmatically. You can specify the token ID that you got when you were deploying, when you were registering it as a canonical Interchain token. And then you specify the destination chain, the destination address, which is the receiver address, and the amount, the metadata. If you have any metadata here, you can also specify OX to indicate empty, and the gas value. So this is all you need to register your token that is already deployed on one chain as a canonical Interchain token that will be deployed across other chains, right? So yeah, that's like the entire process. And then the idea about the Interchain Token Service, the Interchain tokens, and now we'll head over to the demo session. So in this demo session, what are we doing? The first thing we want to do here is to create
really quick
a new
before we
Interchain
get into the
token
demo.
service.
I just wanted to recap for everybody here.
All right.
What I'm hearing is ITS is like a multifaceted solution. It doesn't matter if you've already minted your coin. ITS can help you take it multi-chain. It doesn't matter if
Yes.
you've already minted the multiple chains. ITS can help you link those tokens under a singular tool. Or if you haven't even deployed yet, it can take you from absolutely nothing to a multi-chain token. Am I catching all the use cases there? Or are there any other ones we wanted to mention before we go into the demo?
Exactly. You captured everything. Like there are so many options for you. If you have your tokens before, just like you mentioned, if you don't have, like if you have on one chain, you want to take it on different chains, or you don't have a token yet, you're planning to deploy your token on multiple chains, then you can leverage the Interchain Token Service. That's correct.
Exciting. Well, let's get into the demonstration. I want to see this stuff firsthand, and I'm ready when you are.
All right. So let me just quickly run through some of the things that we'll be doing during the demo. We'll create a new Interchain token using the Axelar Interchain Token Service, and then we'll register and deploy the token locally on Phantom Chain. Of course, this is for this demo, right? You can choose any other chain. And then we'll deploy that token remotely on Polygon, and then finally we'll transfer tokens between those chains. So the cool thing is that we are going to be using the Ethereum boilerplate by Moralis. right? While I was trying to set up this entire process, this boilerplate has been really, really helpful to get me on board like quickly. And then all I just need to do is to just set up my keys and then I'm good to go. So it was pretty easy for me to utilize this boilerplate to start and also to do the demo. So I will be using this, and if you want to try it on your own, you can also take a look at the Ethereum boilerplate demo. It already has all the UI you need. All you just need to do is to go ahead and integrate your stuff programmatically or like play around with things and then deploy, and you should be good to go. So right now, Phil, I will be sharing my entire screen. So next, you're mute. Yeah, saying something. You're mute, Phil.
So sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, let me know when I'm
Yeah,
ready
it's
to
fine.
pop that screen up, and sit tight, guys, because we're about to see some really cool stuff here.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Oh, I think
Okay.
we're looking at the studio, but here we are. Perfect. Ethereum boilerplate on the screen.
Yeah. So I mentioned just now that we are going to leverage the Ethereum boilerplate. So first thing I just want to quickly like show what we have there. So this is the boilerplate that I will be using in this demo. You can check it out via this link, Ethereum. It's boilerplate.vaset.app. And you can also see like a quick demo on how what this entire boilerplate is all about and some of the things that you already have out of the box. You just need to start implementing, right? And finally, what we are going to do is to clone this project, would cd and then do yarn install, add our API key to our environment variable, and then we should be good to go. So let me quickly head over to my terminal. So if you don't have, I'm going to stop the terminal right now. So check, let me stop this one that's currently running. Okay, one sec.
Okay, I can see your terminal up on the screen right now. Are we looking at the right thing here?
Yes, that's
Perfect.
correct. I'm trying to switch my system. Just give me a second, real quick.
No worries. Take your time. All right, folks, as mentioned, we're about to see some live coding here of setting up an ITS token using the suite that we were just talking about. So if you're joining us late, we just finished a description on how Interchain Token Service functions. And there is a graphical way to do some of the things we're going to show too. But this would be the method if you're familiar with coding for coding smart contracts and things of that nature. So this, if so, you're going to be right at home with this. If not, remember to check out that graphical method as well.
So is this code enough? I'm trying to zoom in just to make sure that everyone can see my terminal. Can you confirm you can see this clearly?
Yeah, I can see it. I think we're ready to go.
All right. All right. So let me just switch back to this. And then what you just need to do is to clone this boilerplate, which I've already done that. And then you cd into the Ethereum boilerplate, and then you do yarn install. Set up your local environment. You can head over to the Moralis admin page here, and then you can grab your keys. Yeah, you need to just log in. I already set that up so that we can quickly get into this demo session. And then you set up your next auth URL, your secrets here. You can find all of this information directly on this project, and you start your application. So let me just switch back to what this looks like for me locally, right? So we have, I've head over to my, you can, after cloning the entire project, just head over to your Visual Studio Code or any editor that you're currently using, and then you should see something similar to this. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, so
let
I
us know
think
in the
this
chat,
is,
guys, if you can see everything we're doing here. We can try to zoom in a little more if not, but looks good for me.
yeah. All right, so after we set up our local development environment, like adding your keys from Moralis, adding the Nest Auth API and all of that. So what we're going to do first is, because we want to create a new interchain token, right? Programmatically, we need to import some ABIs. So what are these ABIs that you need to import? First, you need to import the interchain token ABIs. You need to import the interchain token factory ABI and also the interchain token service ABI. These are contracts that we need to interact with directly from our application. So if you want to get those ABIs, you can just check out, just search for Interchain. Okay, just go to our docs instead. The fastest way to go to the docs, and then you scroll down. You should see the two Interchain Token Service and also Interchain Token Factory. Or if you go to the developer session, you go to cross-chain token, Interchain token, and then go to create token, create new Interchain token, right? You see the address here. So if you click on one of these, this one takes you to Interchain Token Service that's already deployed, and then you can click on the contract. You can, check the implementation contract, and then scroll down. If you scroll down, just keep scrolling, you should see the ABI. Oh, okay, sorry, just missed that. All right, yeah, so you could see like this is the ABI, and then you can just copy. But if the other option is, this is recommended option anyways. So for the second one, is Interchain Token Factory. You can open that up, do the same thing, go to the contract section, write as policy, check the implementation contract for this, and then you scroll down, you'll get the Interchain Token Factory contract ABI. You just need to scroll all the way down, and then you can click here to copy. So I already done that. That's why you're seeing, this factory here and also the Interchain Token Service. So finally, the Interchain Token ABI here is the Interchain Token contract that will be deployed. So whenever you call that function to deploy a new Interchain token, it deploys this contract that already implements the Interchain Token standard, right? So these are the three ABIs that we need, and we'll link that, in the description of this video so that you can quickly get access to them. And then after that, once we are done, adding all our ABIs, we set up our local development environment. What we need to do next is, so let me zoom this a little bit. So it's to create different components. But let me show you what we currently have right now. Let me go back to the terminal, and then because I already everything set up, you can just click yarn dev. It's going to start up this application on your local hosts. And then we head over to localhost 3000, refresh our application. And then you should see something like this, right? So this is the Ethereum boilerplate, right? You can see all of the things available to you, right? I'm currently connected to Phantom. Let me confirm that. So you can check your transactions, and it's going to read all your transaction details. You can check, let me switch this to, let's say, Polygon, where I have like some, transaction to read from. So you can see all of these things to read directly. All of this is leveraging, Moralis to read all this information on chain. And for ERC20 tokens, you can also see all of the details. NFTs, if you have like NFT collections, you can see the NFT transfers you've done throughout, like when you've done on this particular account. And then if you want to check balance, also we have like all the balances here. And once we deploy the token and then we transfer from one chain to the other, you'll see we'll be able to track the balance here. And then finally, NFTs. Of course, if you have NFTs, you can find all of them here. And this is the only missing section that you won't get to see if you clone the boilerplate, which is Interchain tokens, right? And then we have three options here. We'll create a new token, we'll deploy the token remotely, and then we'll transfer tokens. So these are the three options that we have here. So if you click here, of course, this is for me, right? We share this, code for anyone that wants to, take a look. So this is where we'll be creating a new Interchain token. And then after creating a new Interchain token, we'll deploy that token remotely. And then we'll just pass in our unique salt here and specify other information. And then finally, we can do token transfer, where we also specify all that information that we need. and the amount and every other thing. So, but then I think this is what the end result looks like. So let me switch back to Phantom, and then let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. All right, so we're done with ABI session. So this is what the component looks like. So we've created these other components for creating a new interchain token, right? So there are a lot of things happening here. Basically, all of these things are something you can find in the boilerplate directly, but you just need to implement whatever thing you want to implement, right? But then I reused all of the UIs that are already available, the components that are already available for me on this boilerplate, and then you can just call them in and then implement your functionality. So to start with, the first thing we did here is to import our interchain token factory. Let me zoom in one more time. Okay, maybe that's too much. All right, so the interchain token factory, and also we specify the interchain token factory contract address. So right, I mentioned, like I was showcasing this earlier on where I was showing you like the address. So the address I'm talking about is the interchain token factory address here, which we specify here already. And what we did first was to create some the state variables, and we created we are trying to access our address from user account hooks that is available for us, and which is imported from WAGMI. And then we specify other informations like the token name, token symbol, token decimal, the initial supply, and also we also create a state variable to track the transaction hash, because this is what we'll use to take a look at our transaction on the Explorer available for us. And then finally, the sort value, we're tracking the sort value, and also we are using the tools to display notification. So first thing what we want to do here is to create a new token. And then to do that, we are leveraging the use contract rights hooks that is available to us. And then we are specifying the address. If you're familiar with this use contract rights hooks, if you take a look at WAGMI, and then you check the official documentation, go to get started, and then you should be able to search for use contract. Yep. So use contract read. So this is what we are using, use rights contract, right? So these are the information that you need to specify, which we're already doing that here on our Visual Studio Code. And then we are specifying the interchain token factory. Remember that we are specifying the interchain token factory because the factory contract is what we'll be using for deployment across chain. And then this is where we are calling the deploy interchain token that I mentioned during the presentation. And then we are passing the unique sort value, the token name that we want to deploy. All of this data is what we get from the front end when we want to test this out. So these are the information we are passing as an argument into this function on the interchain token factory contract. And then we are also specifying the token decimal, and then finally the initial supply that you specify from the front end, and also the address of, this is the minter. So I'm specifying the address, the connected wallet address. And that's it for you to use the use contract rights hooks. And then the next thing we're doing here is to wait for that transaction to execute so that we can track its success, its error, and its loading. This is also a component that we can utilize on the front end to show the status of the transaction. And then when it's completed, we display those notification. When it returns an error, we also track that. So that's it for that. And then finally, we are creating a function that helps us validate the input from the front end to make sure that we have all of this value entered before we try to send it on the contract. And then we call the right function, the right method here that we got from the use contract right. And then we display a toast notification saying transaction submitted successfully. Finally, we are going to, there's a use effect here that we are using to generate the sort value, because this sort value needs to be unique. And then what we want to do is, in as much we want to deploy this particular new interchain token, we want to make sure that even if we refresh the page, we have the same unique value. So while we are trying to enter all of the remaining information and then trying to send the transaction, we want to make sure that the sort value is generated once, and then we can get that value, that unique value that we'll be using later on for deploying remotely and also doing token transfers. So this is the first use effect. And then the second one here is where we're tracking the each success that is being returned from this use wait for transaction hook. So we are tracking if it's successful, then we want to display the transaction hash so that we can click on the transaction to confirm if it's actually successful or not. And then we also post a notification saying new interchain token created, and we want to clear all the input fields. And if there's an error, we also want to display that error. We also want to alert, at least for us to know that there's something went wrong. And then finally, if it's loading, we also want to kind of show a post notification to track it's loading. So this is just a way for us to track as things are happening on chain. So, and then every other thing you see here are typically input fields from the front end, the token name, and then we are setting the values for each information that is passed in from the front end, and then saving it in the save variable so that we can use that to send the transaction on chain. And we also have some other information here, the sort value, as you can see, all of them. And then finally, whenever we have a transaction hash, we want to display that hash, and then we want to be able to show that on the front end. So this is for create token. Before we proceed, let's test this out and see what it looks like on the front end. All right, so I'm going back to the front end now. Let me zoom in. Let me know if this is it good to go for you?
Looks good for me. Guys, let us know in the
All
chat
right.
if you're having trouble seeing anything. This is very exciting to see interchain functions included with the Moralis Ethereum boilerplate, or I should say the Ethereum boilerplate that we've been working on for quite some time over at Moralis. This really feels like the next stage of blockchain evolution, because we've been talking about this for years. Like, how do we solve this issue on multiple levels of interoperability for value holding assets, which is what we're talking about here, guys. So yeah, no, without saying any more on that, let's see the next steps, Idris.
All right, thank you very much. So the next step here, what we want to do is to test out what I just showcased, right? About creating a new interchain token and then calling the function to create that. So this is what it looks like on the front end. So of course I connected my wallet. Let me just click this disconnect so you can connect your wallet. You see, let me switch, and just give me a second. All right, so you can connect your wallet, and then you switch over to the create new token tab. You see this, and finally, because I want to test on Phantom, let me switch over to Phantom testnet. And we are currently connected to Phantom testnet. I want to create a brand new interchain token, right? This is going to be a unique name for your token. So I can call this, do you have any interesting name you want to call this, Phil?
Oh, what we want to call our token?
Yes.
Oh, man. What if we call it more Axelar?
Oh, interesting.
Our two names.
There we go. That's really cool. So and then we can have a token symbol of MAT, right? Does that make sense? That's more Axelar token. Yeah. So then I already prefer this decimal, of course. Token decimal for ERC20 token is 18, and then we can set an initial supply. So what initial supply do you think we can have for this?
Oh, let's do I was going to say more than that. I was going to say 1 million.
All right, so let's do 1 million, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So we have 1 million total initial supply for this token, and then see the information here, unique salt, right? This is the salt that was generated. So we can copy this and then keep it somewhere, right? This is very, very important. Please don't skip that step, because this is what you use to deploy your token remotely, because this unique salt is valid for this token. So let's save it here, and then let's go back to our application and then click create token. So it shows transaction submitted, please confirm on MetaMask. And then on MetaMask, I can confirm the transaction. Takes me back, it shows transaction is pending, and then boom, we have the transaction hash here. And the transaction hash is returned alongside with the hyperlink to confirm this actually happens on chain. So clicking on this will take you to, let me zoom in a little bit. Clicking on this will take you to the phantom scan, and then where you have the token, you can see we call the deploy interchain token, and on that we can see the name of the token. So let me just click on this. We see the total supply is 1 million, and of course you can see this was deployed 31 seconds ago. So this is 1 million more Axelar tokens. Yeah, so we also have the token contract address here. Yeah, so we've confirmed this is on chain right now, and then we have successfully created an interchain token, right? The next thing we want to do is to deploy this token remotely. But then, of course, let's see how this is done programmatically. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code and then head over to the deploy token component. Inside this token, we have a couple of things happening, just like what we have when we want to create a new interchain token. But then we have a little bit, we have some different things that we added here. So this is similar to what we had before, like getting an address, displaying, like creating a state variable to store the display the transaction hash, the source chain, the destination chain, the source value that we're going to send from the front end. And also we'll be using the Axelar query API. This is an API available for us to get the estimated gas value. So remember that we want to deploy this token from Phantom to Polygon, right? And then we need to know the gas that is required for us to deploy from Phantom to Polygon. So Axelar, we have provided an API for you, and then all you just need to do is to call this function called estimate gas fee, and then specify the source chain, because I'm getting this from the front end, so I'm specifying that here, and also specify the destination chain, specify the currency. In this case is we are on Phantom, right? We want to deploy to Polygon, so we're specifying FTM, and you specify other method, which is the gas limit and then the multiplier. So this is the default that you could get, and after we get a response, we want to save that gas value into the gas amount state variable that we created here, and then we are good to go. If not, if you have error, we are going to log it into the console. So gas estimation completed. Now let's deploy the token remotely. So we are also going to use the hook available to us, which is the use contract hook. And then in this case, we are also specifying the contract address, the token interchain token factory contract address. We're specifying the interchain token factory contract ABI. And notice this, we are calling the deploy remote interchain token. The first one we call deploy interchain token, right? Deploy new interchain token. In this case, we are calling the deploy remote interchain token, which is the function on the interchain token factory contract. And then we're specifying this argument. The first one is the source chain, the source value, that unique source value that we saved somewhere. And then we're specifying the address, the destination chain that we want to deploy this on. In our example is Polygon. And then we are specifying the gas amount. That's the gas value that is required here. And we are also specifying the gas amount required for this cross-chain transaction, right? And that's it. And moving on, we also wait for the transaction to track the success, the error, and when it's loading. So, and then finally, we create the handle deploy token method that gets called whenever you click on deploy remote token button on the front end. And so we are also doing some sort of validation that if right exists, we are calling the right method, and then we display those notification to say transaction submitted successfully. And then if there's an error, we also log that, display that so the user knows what is happening. And we have a use its first state that we use to get the gas estimator once the page loads. And also if the transaction is successful, that's after clicking deploy remotely. If it's successful, we want to display, we want to save this transaction hash, and at the same time display the token, the toast notification to say, hey, the token that you just deploy remotely as we deploy remotely successfully, right? And also, we also want to display the error, right? And if it's still loading, we want to also display a toast notification so that the user understand what is going on. And that's it. So every other thing here that you can find here, basically the UI input where we are getting the source chain, the source value, the destination chain, and also the button that triggers the deploy, handle deploy token method. And also we are displaying the transaction hash. As you can see, we are also referencing like the Axelar scan explorer, and we are attaching the transaction hash so that we can get to see what is happening while the token is deploying from the source chain, which is Phantom in this example, to Polygon. So this is for deploy remote token. So now let's head over to our browser. Since you have successfully created an interchain token, so now let's deploy that token remotely on Polygon. So this is what it looks like on the front end. And then we need to pass in our source value. So let me go back here and then copy the source value, paste it in here. The source chain is already prefilled as Phantom, it's connected to Phantom. And then we need to specify the destination chain. So you can see the sample of how the destination chain is. This is case sensitive, right? So if you want to see all of this, destination chain name, just head over to our docs, go to developers, and then go to contract addresses, go to testnet. Once you scroll down, you see EVM contract addresses, right? And then on this EVM contract address, let me zoom in a little bit. So on this EVM contract address, you can see each of the chains have the chain name. You can see the chain name here is Arbitrum lowercase. The chain name here is Avalanche. So it's case sensitive. So what I prefilled was Phantom. So let's go down to say Phantom, and then you can see how Phantom is spelled. And then we are deploying on Polygon, right? So let's go down and see what Polygon is. So it's called Polygon. So I can just copy this here, go back to our demo, and then paste that in, which is Polygon, right? Remember, we are still connected to Phantom network, right? And then now we can click deploy. So it says transaction submitted, and then we can confirm. So once it confirms it, transaction spending, you can see how pretty fast it is. And then we can take a look at the transaction hash. Just click on this. It takes you to the Axelar scan Explorer page. Let me zoom in a little bit. So the gas estimation would happen, and then the system would try to deploy the token from Phantom to Polygon. So in this case, this is another cool function that is available to you. So in a case where the system tries to estimate gas that is needed for the transaction to go through, and for some reason the gas wasn't enough, it doesn't stop your transaction. You just need to head over, like copy the transaction hash, go to testnet.axelarscan.io, paste in the transaction hash, and then you can pay gas directly from the UI, like I'm currently doing right now. And then it's going to show adding gas, and there will be a MetaMask pop-up in a moment where you confirm this transaction to add extra gas fee to make sure that this transaction is successful end to end. So let's wait for that pop-up, and then we should see that in a moment.
That's a cool feature, guys. The being able to reinforce the gas later on. That's the first time I've seen anything like that, and
Yeah.
I think it really helps to round out the solution that we're looking at here. This is super exciting. If you remember at all what this was like, even a couple of years ago, and finally seeing the tools that we've been building at Moralis come to life with this new multi-chain technology is just really, really inspiring. And I hope you guys in the chat are feeling the same way. I mean, this is all you need to get started with a multi-chain token.
Yes, exactly. So this is a cool feature that is available to you. So in case, just like Phil mentioned, you can take a look at, and apart from just clicking buttons, you can also see some other information and track how things moves from the source chain, gas being paid, confirmed, approved on the network, and also executed on the destination chain. So you can see all of the other informations that you might need: the Polygon, like the destination chain, the Phantom address, the source chain, the destination contract address, the payload hash, the payload itself. So every other information that you need to know about this transaction that is happening on chain. And then take a look at this. this is the method that is currently being called, which is interchain token deployment, right? This is what gets triggered at this point, and then we are trying to deploy this token remotely from Phantom to Polygon. So it has approved successfully, and then you can see how pretty fast it is, right? And it's currently being executed. So let's just wait a few more seconds, and then this should be executed successfully. Yes. So
Beautiful.
it's currently
It's always great when
executed.
we're doing live steps to see it finalizing in real
Yeah.
time like that.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying this, but it wasn't long ago that things like this were a lot more clunky, and to see them so seamless, and even when we're using code to have the benefits of a UI that we're inputting a lot of this information into, it's just next level. And I mean, where we're at right now in the market, 2024 Bitcoin halving coming up. This is the perfect time, guys, to be getting going with the projects you had in mind, launching new things, and being part of what we're doing globally as a crypto community. And of course, using the best tools like you have with Moralis and Axelar. Amazing. Back to you, Idris. I'm just getting excited seeing all this stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So now we have the transaction executed end to end. So the transaction is complete, but then let's take a look at this. So first, what I want to do is I want to go back to our token here, and then I want to copy this token address. I want to import it on MetaMask, right? Of course, this is a token that we just created. So we want to see as things move from chain and all of these balances across different networks. So let me import this token, and I'm just going to paste this here, right here, and it's going to prefill the token. You can see that, and then we click next, and then we click import. So right now on the destination chain, we have what 1 million more Axelar token, right? Let me do the same for Polygon, right? I just deployed on Polygon, right? I just deployed the token on Polygon, but then we haven't sent anything on Polygon. So the expectation is if we import this, we should just see 0 as the balance. So I'm importing this. So right now I have this, right? I have a 0 more Axelar token. So I've successfully imported. So now let's go back. We have one more step to go, which is token transfer, like transferring token from chain A to chain B. In this example, is Phantom to Polygon, right? So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code and close this component. We see another component called transfer token, right? So it's kind of similar. Every other details, we are tracking the state variables, the inputs that we get from the front end, we're saving it into a state variable, and also we are estimating gas. Nothing different, but then pay attention to token transfers, right? So what we are doing here is token transfer. Let me change this real quick.
So for anybody who's maybe seeing this kind of stuff for the first time, just to kind of bring you up to speed with where we're at, we set up a token, an Interchain Token Service capable token on Phantom. And then we deployed that same token over on Polygon. What we're about to do is take some of those tokens that are on Phantom, we're going to move them over to Polygon, and we're going to watch that together. I'm ready to see it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So now, so we are utilizing the use contract hooks again, use contract right hooks again, and then we're specifying the interchain token contract address. So notice something, guys. When we deployed our new interchain token, we are interacting directly with the interchain token factory, right? But then in this case that we want to do transfer, we are interacting directly with interchain token contract itself. Remember I showed you on the Explorer, like we have both interchain token factory contract and also the interchain token service. So for transfers specifically, we are interacting directly with the service. So there's something I also want to point out here. Because we deployed a new interchain token, which is a contract that already implemented interchain token standard. And we have this function available to you because that contract already implements the Interchain token standard. While you can do this directly from your token, you can also do it from the Interchain Token Service contract. So, but here in this case, we are doing it directly from the Interchain token contract that we just deployed. So what we want to do first is we want to get that Interchain token contract address that we get from the front end. And then we pass in the contract ABI that we imported here. I think I showed that the first time we set up this project here. We import that. And then, oh, sorry, let me just go back to that component, transfer here. So we are importing the ABI here. We are calling this Interchain token transfer on the token. And then we are specifying the argument that is required for us to transfer this token successfully. So first thing we're doing here, guys, is we specify the destination chain where we want to transfer this token to. And we specify the receiver address, which is the person, the account that is going to receive this token on the destination chain. And then we specify the amount that we want to transfer. And then we pass in the metadata here. In this case, it's 0, like OS, right? And then we are also specifying the gas price that is required for us to do this cross-chain, transaction here that we are getting for our gas from our gas estimator. And that's all we need to trigger or like call this interchain transfer function from our token. So let me recap again, right? I'm calling interchain transfer method directly from the interchain token that we deployed. That's the first option you have for transfer. The second option is you can call it directly on Interchain Token Service. All you need to do is to specify the Interchain token and every other details like the destination chain, receiver address, and then the amount. And then you'll be able to transfer that token. So, but in this demo, I'm interacting directly with the Interchain token contract that we deployed already. So that is why we are calling this method on the Interchain token contract that we deployed on both chains. So now we are done with this part. We want to focus on, making sure that it's successful and then tracking that status. And also if there's an error, we track it. If it's still loading, we also track it so that we can display something on the UI. So, and then we create a function called handle token transfer that will be triggered whenever we click on the button transfer token. And then we are confirming, double checking if rights exist, and then we call the right function. And we are also tracking if there's an error. And there's a use effect here that we use to get the gas estimates. And if it's successful, we want to set the transaction hash to the state variable that we created earlier on, and then display a toast notification saying token transferred initiated. And then if there's an error, we log it. If it's still loading, we also display, right? That's all we need. Every other thing you're seeing here is a UI that we get all of this information, like the source chain, the token contract address, the destination chain, the receiver address, and the amount that we want to transfer. And then you see this button that on click, it triggers the handle token transfer. And then we also track this loading state. And when it's loading, we disable the button, and that's it. Then finally, we display the transaction as just like we have for when we wanted to create a new Interchain token and also deploy remotely. So let's head over back, go back to our browser here, and then click on transfer token. We should see this page. First thing here, you can see the source chain name. I'm connected to Phantom, right? Which is, oh, sorry, let me switch back to Phantom. So it's always good to double check so you don't run into an error. So we are connected to the source chain. And now this prefilled like the Phantom source chain address for us. And then we need the token contract address. So let's go back to the Phantom scan and then copy the token contract address. Go back to our demo, paste that in. And then we need to specify the destination chain. So the destination chain in this case is Polygon. Remember, guys, it's case sensitive. So what you just need to do is to come here and then copy this and then go back to the UI and then pasting the destination chain name, which is Polygon in this case. Now, the receiver address, I want to paste in my address. Of course, I want to receive this token on Polygon. So let me paste my address. And now, amount to transfer. So Phil, what amount do you think we need to transfer?
Let's split the supply. Let's put half on one and half on the other. So we started with 1 million. So 500,000 we'll want to move over.
So let's do 500,000, 500,000. So I think that's correct. Yes. So now we have this, and then we can proceed to click transfer token. It says I should confirm this on MetaMask, and then I can click confirm. It says transaction submitted, token transfer initiated. So now we can close this pop-up, and then we can click on this link. Also, it takes us to Axelar scan, right? So there are cases where, based on what is currently happening within the network, so when the gas gets estimated and there's a failure, just like we had in the previous step, you can just pay that directly on this UI. So what we are doing here is to transfer 500,000 more Axelar token from Phantom to Polygon. And then right now, we are currently topping up the gas that is needed for this transaction to go through. And then after that, we'll just wait for the transaction to be confirmed on the network, approved, and executed successfully. So I'm going to confirm this transaction now. And then in a second, we are going to see the gas get added successfully. So let's wait for that. Yes, this should not take long. So now it says pay gas successful. So we can even confirm that transaction to pay that gas. You can see it's calling the add native gas contract. The add native gas function on the contract, on the gas service contract that we use to top up this gas. And then you can see every other information here. And this shows it's successful. Let's just go back to the Axelar scan, and it's confirmed already. It's currently approving. You can see how things move when the gas was paid, how much was paid, when it was confirmed. You can see the transaction here when it was confirmed successfully on the network here, right? Let's wait. It's currently being approved. Yes, so we're waiting for this transaction to be approved successfully. Yes, approved. And then now it's executing. So it's going to execute on the destination chain. You can see also the details about the approval, all you need to know, the amount that was used, paid, and also all of this, the links to like the Axelar gateway and some other links that are very relevant you might want to check out. So now the transaction is completed end to end, right? So the expectation is we have sent 500,000 more Axelar token from Phantom to Polygon. So where are we going to confirm this? There are two ways to this, right? The first one is you can just go back to our MetaMask and then check the Phantom token that we have. You can see we now have 500,000 token that's been deducted from Phantom. So let's switch to Polygon and then see if we receive any token here yet.
Now, when we deploy this way, is it going to share EVM token addresses between the two chains? The EVM token address will be the same, or is it sometimes different? Just wasn't 100% clear on if it duplicates that address on the new chain or not.
Yeah, it's going to duplicate the address on the new chain. So the only time you have a different chain, a different chain address is, for example, you have, okay, let me take USDC, for example, USDC on Ethereum, right? And then they want to make USDC an interchain token, right? So what is going to happen is if you go to on the portal and then you register that token as a canonical interchain token. So, you already have the address on Ethereum, which is in this example, USDC, right? So when you register it as a canonical interchain token and then you deploy to, let's say, Polygon, a new address is going to be created. And then if you now deploy to another chain like Avalanche, that same address that was used or that was deployed on Polygon would remain the same across all other connected chain that you deploy USDC on. So the only difference is that because that is an already existing token with its unique contract address, but now every other token that you deployed, like that particular token that you deployed through Interchain Token Service to any other chains would carry the same EVM address.
Perfect. No, that's good to know that
all right.
In that situation that'll be different. But what you're saying is, as you use the Interchain Token Service, it's going to maintain that same address throughout the chains you deploy to, which is a great advantage, I think.
Exactly. So now I've switched to Polygon network, and then we can see we're on Polygon right now, and then we can see that this is showing 500,000 MAT, but that's for MetaMask, right? Because we're using the Ethereum boilerplate, of course, powered by Moralis, and then there's this query that we already have implemented. So if you go to balances and you go to ERC20 token, you see this page, and then you scroll down. Don't mind me, these are like test tokens. Yeah, so you scroll down and you see more Axelar, and then it's showing 500,000 token. Whoa! That's pretty exciting, right? So we're able to complete this test end to end, deploying from chain A to chain B, and then transferring from chain A to chain B. In this example, we deploy on Phantom, we deploy remotely to Polygon, and then we transfer from Polygon to from Phantom to Polygon. So one last thing that I missed earlier on when we deploy the token. So when we deploy our token here, let me go back a step. This is the transaction, right? So if you load this page and then you go to logs, you see how, like, what happens under the hood, right? If you scroll down here, you see Interchain token deployed. Like, this is the event, and then it generates a unique ID, and then the minter, and then you can see our token address, right? So this is the token address. So I want to show you something. So you can see this token address, right? Let's confirm what I just said, Phil, about having the same address. So let's go to Phantom. Sorry, let me show the log. You can see this address here. It ends with what? 347C, right? If we go back to this, our boilerplate, this is currently connected to Polygon. Let me recall that 347C, right? Token address. So this is connected to Polygon. And then if you scroll down, you see that we have what? 347C. Did you see that, Phil?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I was just taking a look myself because I wanted to see on the Block Explorer the change in the tokenomic balance on the origin chain, so that we could look at that as well. But I'll let you show everyone as we go along.
Yes. So yeah, exactly. So now, if you go back to, oh my God, I just closed that. Let me open it again. Oh, okay. So let me see. Okay, this is for adding native gas. For some weird reasons, I cannot bring back my old tab. Let me do this manually. Sorry, guys. Quick one. I just want to bring back this hash. And then if you go back to the overview and then click on more Axelar, it takes you. So now we can see the total supply. Can we all see?
Wow. It even adjusted the max token supply based on the ITS transfer that we set up. So guys, this is hugely useful if you're managing a token supply for your community. Because what happens when you publish that documentation, you say, and we're going to go with our example that we're talking about here, you say the token supply for this asset is 1 million, and then you need to deploy it to another chain. Well, if you do this using the old school methods, you're going to look like you're increasing your token supply. And I even saw this. I'm not going to mention any particular projects, but I saw this in the past month. A team was expanding to a new ecosystem, and all of a sudden, their token price drops 10% because everybody's like, oh, they're expanding the token supply. They were just trying to go interchain without using ITS. Had they been using ITS, it would have adjusted the supply on the old chain, and they never would have had this problem in the beginning. So I just wanted to be able to point that out because I think that that is a hugely powerful aspect to what we're looking at here today.
Yes, yes, that's interesting. Thanks for pointing that out. So now we can also see the contract here. We have the contract verified. All of these things are open source. Like that's the most interesting part. Like it's verified, nothing is hidden. Nobody is going to withdraw your funds at any point in time. You can see all of these things verified, and then you see what is happening on chain. So now
Beautiful.
we have successfully created a new token. We have deployed that token remotely. We have, do token transfers, and you have seen all of these things in action. Everything leveraging the boilerplate. Like it's very, very easy. To be honest, while I was trying to build out this, it took me way lesser time, because ideally I'm supposed to set up a new UI, set up, wallet connect, set up like a lot of, missing piece, try to bring them together, and then start to do some designs. If you don't have a very good CSS skills, you're going to like run into like a lot of design issues. But the cool part leveraging the Ethereum boilerplate is we have all of these things set up. So even these UIs, like I just try to grab tables from the components that are existing. Like this is how cool it is. Just customize it your own way, and then you should be good to go, like just out of the box. So now we have successfully complete the demo session. So let me just head over to the presentation. So I'm going to stop share and then just share my tab, Phil. One sec. All right. Yes.
And
I think we can have it. Yeah. So this is what we just completed, right? We have created an interchain token. We deployed locally on Phantom. We deployed remotely on Polygon chain, and then we've transferred tokens between those chains. But then what happens next? Right. Because we did this programmatically, right? We also encourage everyone to try things out. If you want to try it programmatically, then you can just follow this guide. I would also make this code snippets, or like the entire project that I have currently. We'll make it available so that you can see how this is being implemented, leveraging the Ethereum boilerplate. And but if you want to try things out on the portal, then you can also check out our tutorial on creating interchain token using the portal. This is no code tool, and then all you need to do is to just fill in your token information, select if it's going to be mintable, or you want to have like a fixed supply, and then you also enter your initial supply, just like we set up programmatically. Those are the informations that it's required for you to create an interchain token. And the cool part is that you can also do token transfer directly on the portal. You can see your balances across all chains. You can see how things move from one chain to the other. And so what next, right? For support, we understand how important it is to have support, right, for developers that are building things. So in case you get stuck, or you have like questions, you need no clarification, or you want to even give us feedback on some of the things we have so far, you can take a look at our support repo, which is github.com/Axelar network/support. You can create a new issue if the issue doesn't already exist, and then we'll be happy to help answer your questions, give more detailed information about those questions, and even give more, maybe if you need access to any of our resources, we can also provide them. And of course, all of our resources are out there. You can take a look at it. Yeah, and then finally, thank you all for joining. My name is Idris Olubisi once again. I really enjoyed the entire process where we get to like create interchain token programmatically, and I believe you guys also enjoy the end-to-end process. So this is a QR code you might want to scan. It takes less than 1 minute to fill in the survey. Tell me what you think about this workshop, and also how this workshop how you have been able to like benefit a thing or learn a thing or two from this workshop, and I'll be happy to receive those feedbacks. Thank you very much for having me, Phil.
And thank you, Idris, for joining us. This was even more fun than I expected it to be. We were able to do everything that I hope to see and a little bit more. Now, if you guys are looking for more support from Moralis as well, check out the links below. We got a link to our Discord there where you can get involved with other developers in the community. We've got job postings there. And of course, we have all the help that you may need when getting started with Moralis and using those products, including the Ethereum boilerplate that are also available to you. We're excited to be developing with you, our community, and with Axelar as we move forward in 2024. And just amazing to have you guys at the forefront of blockchain innovation along with us. Everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next stream.
Yes. Bye, guys.